explain this because in the coming topics we will be using it. So the topic is Tristate Buffer. What is Tristate Buffer? The Tristate Buffer is that type of device which can work in three states. What are these three states? It can give 1 at the output, it can give 0 at the output, and it can give high impedance state at the output. The sample of tri-state buffer is this and this. This tri-state buffer is with active high enable, and this tri-state buffer is active low enable. The system is like this. You give input over here and you get output over here. Simple. You give input and you get the output. But that input which you give to the output, that is controlled by a third line, which is called the enable line. In this diagram, which we are discussing active high enable, here if you give 1 at the enable input, then the input of the buffer is connected with the output of the buffer. Whatever it is, if it is giving, if you are giving 0 at the input, it will give 0 at the output. If you are giving 1 at the input, you will get 1 at the output. But if you give 0 at the enable line, then the input would be disconnected from the output. And this state is called the high impedance state. It is just like over here. You can see that the switch is off. So here it is just like you disconnected the output from the input, and the output will go in the high impedance state. High impedance state means that none of the current will be flow from this from outside to in or from inside to out. So it would be just like the open circuit. So those are the three states of the active high enable tri-state buffer. Now come towards the active low enable. It is same, just one difference is there. That is bubble on the control input, that is the enable input. Bubble means the inverter gate. So it means that this the previous one was working with 1, and this is working with 0. So now if you put 0 over here, the input would be connected with the output. And if you put 1 over here, the input would be disconnected from the output. Now, when you use any IC and in the IC this triangle is given, then it means those outputs or those lanes or those input output lanes are connected inside with the tri-state buffer. So here those lines shows that they are connected with some sort of the tri-state buffer, either active low or active high tri-state buffer, but it is connected with the tri-state buffer. Now, what is the advantage of using